I thought she looked, like a Native American. And that's, like I said, that was my mom, and she wore 70s headbands.
Oh, that's your mom?
In the 70s,
oh,
she
your
looked
mom's
like,
cool.
Everyone thought she was Native American.
I have a little Choctaw Indian in my background.
She looked like an Indian woman. She looked like, like straight off the prairie.
They talk about the cheekbones and.
Yeah, you do have high cheekbones.
Yeah.
She always had long black hair, and so, that's Indian hair.
But I've long been suspicious of these stories. How could so few Native Americans sleep with so many African slaves? That's why I've asked the geneticist, Dr. Mark Shriver, to put these rumors to the test.
Now we're going to go on to Tina Turner. Her family reports indigenous American ancestry.
Oh, yeah.
Tina grew up believing that 2 of her grandparents were part Native American.
But you're only 1% Native American. You know how your family has always thought that you had all this Native American heritage?
Yes.
It was white heritage that you had.
All this time, I've been thinking Indian. I was dying to find out what tribe it was.
You're from the tribe of Europe.
Wow.
And I'm 3% Native American, so I got just a little Indian in me.
You got a little Indian in you.
0% Native American. And 0% Native
There
American.
you go.
And 0% who were Native American.
We're gonna have to tell the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma now that I misrepresented myself. I'm not Choctaw at all,
And you'll see there's no figure for Native American because you ain't got no Native American.
Set the record straight.
Even Don Cheadle, who we would expect to have some Native American ancestry because of the connection to the Chickasaw, members of your family owned by Native Americans. But we don't find any.
Wow.
And you're not alone in not having any measurable Native American ancestry. 1 in about every 20 African Americans only 1 in 20 has any significant amount of Native American ancestry.
So apocryphal. Yeah. No. Turns out they didn't really dig you that much.
To get to the bottom of this contradiction, for once and for all, I've invited an expert on Native American history to meet me at Harvard, Dr. Claudio Sant. Claudio, one common belief among African Americans is that the slaves managed to escape from plantations and find refuge with their Native American brothers and sisters. They'd sit around the campfire, slapping five and smoking the peace pipe with coachees. Did this happen?
In some cases it happened, but just as often these fugitive slaves were captured by Indians and returned to the planters. And in fact, the colonies had policies, they implemented policies of rewarding Indians who returned fugitive slaves. They might be given 2 guns and a kettle if they brought back a live slave, and half as much if they brought back a dead slave, or rather the 2 ears of a dead slave, which is what they required.
According to Claudio, substantial social contact only occurred in the early colonial era when settlers enslaved Native Americans and African Americans together, and between the Revolution and the Civil War, when a small number of black people were enslaved by the 5 civilized tribes. If this is true, why does every African American I know believe that their grandmother had high cheekbones and straight black hair?
I think it's probably a desire to be associated with people who are portrayed in popular culture as fierce warriors and who resisted the United States. And if you're a slave or an African American living in Jim Crow America, who wouldn't want to be associated with someone like Crazy Horse or Geronimo?
It's easier to say, we got a little Indian in us than to say, we got raped a few times.
Right.
That's
a really good point.
It's a lot easier to say.
So you make up a myth.
You make up the myth. It sounds much better.
It sounds much
goes
better.
down a lot smoother.
There's a strange sort of security in not knowing a great deal. There's a sense that it's all sort of mystical and lost, and nobody could ever find it, so you could sort of invent any past you wanted to. Well, you can't do that now.
DNA is finally shedding light on one of my family's greatest mysteries. Remember my second great-grandmother, Jane Gates, the woman whose house my cousin just bought? Jane, a slave, had 5 children with an Irishman. Yet she never told anyone his identity. But not even Jane's discretion, or perhaps her shame, could protect her children's father from modern science. Since this man is related to me on my direct paternal line, his Y-DNA haplotype, or genetic signature, and mine are exactly the same.